What if a 21-day vow renewed your marriage? 8:30 p.m. The house grows quiet, and the lamplight makes a warm circle on the coffee table. A small candle flickers near the window. Outside, the street hum fades. You press your thumb gently to your wedding ring, a simple touch that says, "I remember," and your spouse's hand meets yours across the space between you. No speeches, no performance, just breath. Imagine 3 weeks from now. The cold silence is shorter, your words slower, the room lighter. Night 1 feels a bit formal. Night 2 is gentler. By night 7, your hands find each other without stage directions. All you were doing is moving your vows from a framed photo into tinnitus air, lighting one small flame and choosing each other again in the ordinary rhythms that make a life. This ritual rests on Scripture's language of covenant. Love in the Bible is not only a feeling that comes and goes, it is a promise that steadies and renews. Hosea 2:19-20 pictures God saying, "I will betroth you to me forever, in righteousness and compassion," a holy commitment that repairs what is frayed by tender persistence, not by grand theatrics. When you light a candle and place your hand over your ring, you are not inventing a stunt. You are practicing covenant in miniature. Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, "A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken, marriage woven daily with God as the third strand, and evenings matter. They are the hour when edges show, when fatigue makes us careless." Ephesians 4:26 counsels us not to let the sun go down while still angry, not because anger is forbidden, but because anger is a poor companion for sleep. So the time is chosen on purpose, not to pretend the day was perfect, but to close it with a promise stronger than whatever went wrong. For 21 evenings at 8:30 p.m. or the closest faithful time in your home, meet in the same spot. A chair by the window, the end of the couch, a quiet corner. Light a single candle. Place a hand over your wedding ring and take your spouse's hand. Read one short verse aloud, rotating among Hosea 2:19-20, Ephesians 4:32. Be kind and compassionate, forgiving each other, and a brief portion of 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. Love is patient, love is kind. Then speak a 3-line vow. I choose you again today. I will speak life, not blame, and forgive as I have been forgiven. After the vow, breathe slowly together for 60 seconds, eyes softly closed or resting on the candle. Finally, open a shared notebook and each write one sentence of honor, one concrete gratitude or blessing from today. Close the notebook, sit a quiet minute, and keep phones off for 10 more minutes if you can. No arguing here, no solving, just fidelity in small steps. Picture scene 1, the bedtime storm with kids or a day that ran late. You notice the clock has slipped past the usual time and energy is thin. Do a 90-second mini-vow by the window. One hand on your ring, the other resting on your spouse's shoulder. Whisper the verse, speak the 3 lines, breathe together, skip the notebook tonight. The point is faithfulness, not fuss. Scene 2, late shift or travel. One of you is under a hotel vent, the other is home. FaceTime in front of the candle if time zones allow, or leave a brief voice note with the verse, vow, and a sentence of honor. The one at home still lights the candle and writes tonight, S entry with the date and a little airplane in the margin. Scene 3, simmering conflict. The mood is brittle, and skipping the ritual feels easier than tenderness. This is the night the ritual matters most. Name the tension in one sentence. I feel hurt about earlier. And agree not to solve it here. Read the verse anyway. Touch your rings anyway. Breathe anyway. The vow is not denial, it is refusal to let the problem write your bedtime. Create a small vow kit, a candle in a dish, matches, a softcover notebook, a pen that writes smoothly, and 3 verse cards. Hosea 2:19-20, Ephesians 4:32, and a short portion of 1 Corinthians 13. Place the kit in the same spot where you will meet. Set a recurring alarm and let its sound become an invitation, not a demand. Light the candle slowly, scripture before speech, then the vow. Breathe for 60 seconds like you're rocking a small boat. Count the in-breath, count the out-breath. For the sentence of honor, keep it specific and observable. Thank you for covering pickup today. I saw you slow your words when you were upset. Or, I loved your laugh on the phone. Give the weeks a shape. Days 1 to 7 focus on kindness. I'll take the early chore. Or, I'll ask you one good question about your day and really listen. Days 8 to 14 focus on service. Days 15-21 focus on vision. Keep a page titled Hopes We Name. If you miss a day, use the recovery rule. No guilt, but restart the count at day 1. Restarting is not punishment. For consistency, anchor the ritual to something that already happens nightly. After the kids' bedtime, after turning off the TV, after brushing teeth. Anchors turn intention into rhythm. By the end of week 1, your tone at 7 p.m. may already be gentler, because your body remembers that 8:30 p.m. is coming and wants to arrive peacefully. Arguments don't vanish, but they shorten. Apologies arrive sooner because your nightly sentence of honor keeps your attention on what is beautiful, not just what is broken. Eye contact returns like a bird that trusts your open hand. Decision-making becomes less about winning and more about serving tomorrow's peace. Sleep comes a bit earlier. The bed feels less like a courtroom and more like a refuge. Money conversations move from battle to shared stewardship. One fear named, one fact faced, one small step chosen together. You are not trying to fabricate perfection. You are training tenderness, and tenderness learns by repetition. Let Scripture give your imagination scaffolding. See the lamplight as a small altar, not weighty or strange, but a corner where the ordinary is offered to God. Your rings are not trophies. They are daily covenants, reminders like the rainbow in Genesis, that promises can be remembered and renewed. Guard against the little foxes of Song of Songs 2:15, the small habits that ruin vineyards, sarcasm, the eye roll, the tallying of wrongs. Nightly honor sentences are fences against those foxes. If you need a simple weekly addition, let Hosea 2:14 guide you into a wilderness talk, one 10-minute walk each week with no phones, where you ask one open question, what felt heavy? Or, where did you see God's kindness? And listen. The ritual is not superstition. It is a pattern that places your hearts where grace can reach them. You may wonder, what if my spouse is not ready? Practice invitation, not pressure. Light the candle quietly. If they prefer to observe, pray blessing without manipulating. Lord, make us kind. Another question. Isn't this spiritual bypassing? What about therapy? If your marriage carries trauma, addiction, or deep wounds, seek counselors, pastors, and skilled therapists. And if there is abuse or danger, safety comes first. Call for help, make a plan, involve trusted professionals. Spiritual practices honor dignity. They never excuse harm. If health allows, you may add a moderate fast during the 21 days to sharpen focus. Water always permitted. Perhaps skip one meal a day or try a 24-hour fast from criticism, replacing rehearsed complaints with a one-sentence prayer. If you have medical conditions, talk to a professional before changing your intake. Keep the gestures symbolic and aligned with Christian tradition. Honor consent and boundaries at every step. When the 21 days close, do not close the book on what they built. Keep the notebook as a living record of honor. Choose one practice to continue daily, perhaps the single sentence of honor, or keep a monthly vow night on the first dinner of each month. Light the candle, read the verse, speak the 3 lines, add a new hope to the page, pray for another couple by name. Schedule a quarterly 3-hour date the way you would schedule car maintenance, because hearts, like engines, need routine care more than emergency repair. Rotate Scripture weekly and place a verse where your eyes naturally land, on the fridge, the mirror, beside the lamp. Create a subtle sign of recognition. When you see your spouse living the vow, touch your ring briefly, no speech, just a quiet, I saw that. Over the year, these small liturgies grow roots. Roots become shade. Shade becomes a steadier home. The same little candle, now shorter. The same window with the night beyond it. The same hands, older than they were on the wedding day, and more honest too. You read Hosea 2:19-20 again, perhaps paraphrased, I will betroth you in faithfulness, and you will know the Lord. You breathe together. You write simple words like, thank you for listening when I stumbled, and it feels like more than a sentence. It feels like a brick in a strong wall. You notice that the room carries a different weather, not because problems vanished, but because grace was invited to do its steady work. Ecclesiastes 4:12 lingers. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. You whisper, Lord, braid us again. You blow out the candle, and even the darkness feels gentler because the vow did its quiet task, calling your hearts back to each other before the day was done. If something in you leans toward this, let the lean become a start. Name your time, 8:30 p.m. or a nearby faithful hour, and send a simple message to your spouse. For the next 21 days, I want to light a candle with you and say a short vow. Promise not perfect attendance, but sincere return. Pray before day 1. God, make us kind, make us honest, be our 3rd strand, then begin. Watch what happens to anger when it is met by a verse. Watch how your tone shifts when it expects to honor and be honored. Watch how sleep washes the day when you close it with a promise, not a scorecard. When you miss a night, start again. When you feel silly, smile and keep going. And when you feel everything, let your tears be water for dry soil. 21 days from now, you will know whether this simple vow helped. If it did, keep the flame small and steady. If it needs adjusting, adjust with patience. Either way, let covenant, not mood, have the last word.